Real quick before we begin this video of a photo session on the streets of Kilgore, Texas, I'd like to explain that I have been away from my YouTube channel for the longest time since I started it because my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and this was sudden and pretty unexpected, and unfortunately the cancer was very advanced, and I don't even know if she'll still be with us when this video posts. So thanks for all the people who've shown so much awesome support, and if you'd like an update on what's going on, please check the link in my description. And I guess I won't go into any detail right now, but I just wanted to let you know, thanks for sticking around, and I will maintain probably close to my normal update schedule, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you for your understanding and your compassion. Now let's maybe lighten the mood a little bit with this video. Thanks. So things have certainly been pretty rough for me lately, and my family as well. But art is a great outlet, and that was my mission when I went out with Mac recently on this little portrait session. And we'd been planning some kind of shoot for a long time and trying to line things up. And this was a perfect opportunity, and I knew I needed some distraction from the heavy things going on in my life at the time. And thankfully, even though I was pretty rusty from not being out and about much, her boyfriend Cameron handled camera duty this time. So thanks, Cameron, that super helpful, and enjoy the footage. And I'm gonna have to use camera operators more often. So what you're seeing here, the first shots, I was just trying to kind of work out the kinks a little bit with some Kodak Ultramax and a Contax G1, and these are also Ektar and the Bronica ETRS. I really wanted to try the Ektar because Mac has that really awesome red hair. I wanted to see how that reacted to the Ektar and if her skin tones could be salvaged. And there's some interesting stuff in this area of downtown Kilgore, several areas of downtown Kilgore, but I'd never really managed to shoot here much, despite really enjoying this location. So that's where we decided to give it a go. It wasn't the perfect lighting for it, but I've also kind of gotten the philosophy that I shouldn't be just aiming for perfect light. I like looking for near perfect or just kind of off lighting and seeing what I can get, because really golden hour is beautiful, but should everything be shot at golden hour? We live how many hours of the day outside of that little window? 21 to 22 hours, depending on what time of year and where we live.
Dips his GoPro into the water, and the beluga is kind of trying to nudge it and stuff, and so it falls, and the beluga whale goes and gets it and brings it back to him.
I'd say the Ultramax did well, and the Ektar, in my opinion, didn't really bother me with its sometimes problematic skin tone things. The Ultramax definitely has softer blacks than I really like. It's a little grainy, but it's a nice change of pace, and it's a good general purpose, kind of lets you know it's film, and it has a good color saturation. I really love how this one turned out on the Ektar. It may have been the last shot of Ektar. So I had Mac do one outfit change, which is this turtleneck, and we kind of repeated a few spots, and she had this cool jacket with her too, so we decided to play around with that. And I noticed a color coordination thing going on here, and after we kind of just did a few feeler shots around, I realized that this would be an awesome location to actually match some color. And this is on the vaunted and recently deceased Fuji 400H, and really like how it turned out. It's a little more contrasty than Portra 400, and yeah, it's a sad thing that Fuji had to can it because, you know, whatever, but hopefully they'll find a way to bring it back. But, you know, we'll see. I was just super proud of this color coordination moment with the turtleneck and the super worn brown wall and even this little white garage door thing. And I actually shot some Kodak Ektachrome E100 in 120 and in 35, which actually turned out to be my favorite film from this session. Although I also shot a roll of Vision 3 250D that I just have not had time to process yet with everything going on. And but yeah, maybe I'll share those on Instagram if you want to check that out sometime. And I didn't, despite this being such a great location, I also didn't want to just like live here and shoot all of my film here. And there's only so much you can kind of do off the cuff, but I really like how they turned out. And here's the Ektachrome. You can just see the fine grain, but it still feels like film, and that color fidelity. I just really love the color of Ektachrome. Now I actually warmed these scans up just a tad because as you may have heard, Ektachrome is a little on the bluish side, and one of the, I guess, theories or maybe reasons behind that is that it's made to be projected usually with a tungsten light source. So the tungsten light bulb will be warming it up. It's kind of like Cinestill. You know, Cinestill is tungsten balanced, so it's very blue. So when the orange light hits it, it kind of neutralizes. And that's the approach I took with this Ektachrome. And if we could still print slides in the darkroom, you could actually filter it to kind of do that. But we can't really do that anymore, so scanning is the way to go for presenting slides online, unlike film, which you can actually still make actual darkroom prints with. And I gave this difficult exposure situations on purpose because I just like to see what it can hold. And I actually like the look of this, even though I guess from a technical standpoint, some of these may not be quite right. But I also like pushing the color a bit and getting that little bit of, maybe this one's a little too much, but it's still, it's something a little different than you might find on digital. And I love the geometric shapes on the side of this building, but it was hard to pass up this door in open shade. Again, with the Bronica ETRS and Ektachrome, it worked out really beautifully, if you ask me. I could probably shoot here a bunch more, and I probably will shoot here a bunch more. And I think it's great to just kind of shoot around, even if you're not like completely sold on it, to give it a try anyway, because you might be surprised. I wasn't feeling these, and it turned out that I didn't really like them, but I'm glad we tried it. And I'd also like to thank my patrons listed here for their continued support, especially during this extremely rough and challenging month that I've had and my family has had. So you guys and well, y'all, you all make this such an easier task to try to come back from. And to wrap up, I decided to kind of loop back around to where we started at this nice fence, because there was more color coordination here with her turtleneck, and I caught this really beautiful reflection coming off of the windows on that building, and it was just like having a huge strobe right on Mac's face. And I really like how these shots came out in this nice open shade with Ektachrome, beautiful color rendition, little flaring, really did a lot to it. I like how these turned out, but I realized as I was shooting this that you can't preview flares and the lenses with a rangefinder because you see through the rangefinder, not the lens. So I never thought about that. Thanks, and I know a lot's going on, but I will hopefully see you next week, and we'll keep marching forward.